Are we going to regret this? Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And the rumours have been circulating for a while, but it is starting to feel concrete. David Ornstein on The Athletic has reported that Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Noni Madueke. Oh, mate, I am not sure how I feel about this one. A couple of days ago, I released a video concerning the links of Noni Madueke to Arsenal and the proposed potential links of Mohamed Kudus to come in at Chelsea. And the conversation was around, is this a good idea? Now, that was a really interesting one because loads of people got involved in the comments and the opinion seems to be quite split, but mostly favouring Kudus. But there are a massive portion of Chelsea fans out there who thinks selling Noni Madueke is the wrong thing to do and that we are going to regret this. So although the report doesn't go into detail about what those personal terms are, and the only figure that I've seen we'd be getting for him in recent memory is 45 million. That feels not very much, right? I kind of said it before. That feels in and about right for his performance. Maybe not even. He got 11 goals last season. That's not bad, you know. But for the potential, because he's still a very, very young player, 45 mil feels under what I think we should be getting for him. So we can only hope that it is a little bit more than that 45 mil figure, and that might make this news a little bit easier to digest if the move ends up going through. So, Arsenal are back at it again. They are buying Chelsea players en masse. They have recently just confirmed the signing of Kepa Arrizabalaga for 5 million, which I am very grateful for. And now it looks like they're going in for Noni Madueke, and here is why it makes sense for Arsenal. Arsenal have built a really, really strong team. That's obvious. The likes of Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, both centre-backs Saliba and Gabriel, picking up the likes of Calafiori, and with a few fringy kind of players that are quite good for fringe players in the likes of Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli. They've put a really good squad together, and they've put consistent back-to-back good seasons together. Now, the argument is, should they have won more? Because in 5 years, Mikel Arteta's only won one FA Cup. When you spend 100 mil on someone like Declan Rice, I do suppose you expect to see something more in the way of significant silverware. So while Arsenal did still finish second last season, they actually underperformed compared to the last few, where they were getting close to, if not that kind of 90-point mark. And part of the reason for that is probably little things like players like Bukayo Saka being played in every single minute of every single game for the last 3-4 years solidly. And you got to think, he's probably starting to get a little bit fatigued. Mounting a successful title charge is just as much about knowing when to rest players and knowing when to rotate than it is about always having your best 11 out for every single game. And with the right wing support, I think they've got like Ethan Ranieri, who's like 16 years old, so you can't really just throw that pressure on that kid to support Bukayo Saka in a title charge either. So it makes sense. They are missing an able deputy for Bukayo Saka to help them push for that title charge. In our title winning seasons, we've always had more players than we need, right? It was always, so obviously Eden Hazard always featured out on that left side. But when he needed a rest or when he wasn't available, we had a Pedro or a Willian or someone of a real distinct quality to come in. And although, you know, no one's replacing Eden Hazard, but if the team's playing well, you don't need them to replace them. You just need a base foundational level of quality. So is Noni Madueke better than Bukayo Saka? No. Is Noni Madueke a good enough deputy to play in that role when Bukayo Saka isn't available? Yes. And is Noni Madueke potentially a better option on the left wing than Gabriel Martinelli or Leandro Trossard? Trossard, arguably, he's actually been really good, but Martinelli, I would say, yeah, probably. And he's young, he's hungry, he's ambitious, he's got a lot of ego about him, which is something I really like. And Mikel Arteta has proven to be able to get good performances out of players that haven't done so well at other teams. The most recent of which being Kai Havertz. Now, don't get me wrong, Kai Havertz isn't exactly scoring 20 goals a season or whatever, but compared to his performances at Chelsea, you absolutely have to admit that Kai Havertz looks better in that Arsenal team than he ever did with us. And that is kind of what I'm worried about, to be honest. I've just got like premonitional dread about Noni Madueke going to Arsenal and them winning a title or the Champions League or, you know, even just beating us and Noni Madueke being part of that. If that happens, that is going to suck. But when you look at what's happening at our team right now, it does make sense. We have to offload players. Now, the main question is, and the one that I was trying to hit on in my Kudus Madueke comparison video, which you should go and check out if you haven't already, is do we need another attacker right now? Is if we've got to spend 80 million on a Mohamed Kudus, would we not just be better off giving Noni Madueke another season? But I guess what it comes down to largely is amortization and book profit and the way that that works. It is really easy to look at it in isolation and say, if we sell Noni Madueke for 45 mil and buy Mohamed Kudus for let's just call it 60, then we've spent more money on Mohamed Kudus than we made for Noni Madueke. But the way that it works is the sale of Noni Madueke, that 45 million will go onto the books straight away. And on the books, the Mohamed Kudus money will be split up into a maximum of 5 seasons. So we're looking at paying like 12.3.5, whatever. Sorry for my bad maths. So we're looking at paying like 10 to 12 million a year to get Kudus on the books now for 60 million. If it's 80 million, that's like 15 mil a season, but still it's not that much compared to the money you make from Noni Madueke. This is how Blueco look at transfers, right? There's loads of mitigating factors to this. Esteval Willian is just about to come in, and as we saw in the Palmeiras game last night, he looks like he's just going to be able to come in and do the job. He's played against a big Premier League team in us and was easily the best player on their side of the pitch, scored an absolutely unbelievable goal and gave us loads of problems. So it's not even about replacing Madueke because we kind of already have. Pedro Neto has locked down that right wing spot for the time being. He's been really consistent. He's got 3 goals in 4 games in the Club World Cup so far. He's played wherever he's been asked to play. He's done what he's been told. He's a consummate professional. He doesn't have the same kind of ego and attitude of a Noni Madueke, which is a good and a bad thing for different reasons. But it looks like that right wing is pretty locked up already. And then you've got to think in another year's time, we'll be looking at Giovanni Quenda and seeing how well he's done in his next season-long loan out of Sporting Lisbon. So not only have we got 2 really good options right now, we've got another potential wonder kid looking to join us in another 12 months. Madueke's stock has risen since he came to Chelsea, so he's going to be worth enough money, even if it's 45, 50 mil. Personally, it feels like 60 plus seems reasonable for him based on the fact that he's English, so he fits that homegrown quota. He's got a lot of minutes under his belt and he's scored a reasonable amount of goals. It then just becomes looking at him and does Mikel Arteta say, I would play you slightly differently and I think I can get more out of you because of it. So what do we think, guys? What do we think? Do you ship Madueke going to Arsenal? Do you think 45 mil is not enough or do you think that's fair? Do you think that with all the new options we're going to have on the left vis-a-vis João Pedro, although he does look like he might have been brought in to play as a striker, and as well as Jamie Gittins coming into that side, Tyreek George going from strength to strength with each game. Noni Madueke is never going to play in the centre of attack. So the links to Kudus obviously say something around that's probably where we would be going, if not to be a versatile player to play in all of those positions. Is there even space in our team for Noni Madueke at the moment? It's a tough one because it's not like he's 27, 28, coming into his prime and he's scoring these kinds of numbers. Do you know what I mean? We're seeing a 23-year-old Madueke get better every season. And there's a lot there to say, he'd probably just carry on progression and carry on getting better. But the machine has to keep moving. If we want all of these João Pedros and Liam Delaps and potentially Mohamed Kuduses and Esteval Willians, then sacrifices have to be made because what we absolutely cannot have again is 40 players on the books and everyone changing in the changing rooms and loads of people unhappy, causing unrest in the squad. You have to keep your squad trimmed down. Madueke just looks like he's going to be a casualty of that philosophy. It's not even about could Madueke do it. It is just about looking at the squad right now, who we've got coming in, who's already doing well, and who makes us the quickest, best money. I'm not going to be super surprised to see, not necessarily from Arsenal, but to see Estel Jackson as well. He didn't even feature in the Palmeiras game, and he's back from his suspension now, so he's available to play. But after a pretty torrid half from Liam Delap, we opted to throw in João Pedro, who's been with the squad for like 3 days and has never played with us before. So Madueke is probably not even going to be the last of these kind of shocking transfers of young players that we've got that have performed reasonably well in our teams, but Blueco are looking to level us up. And the truth is, right, if we get to the end of the season and we finish in the Champions League again and we have a good run or maybe win another cup, we're not going to look back at the Noni Madueke situation and be like, oh, we shouldn't have done that. It is unlikely that Noni Madueke is the reason that Arsenal win the title. That is just all of our worst fears, isn't it? So yeah, that's it. Noni Madueke on his way out. I guess we probably won't expect to see him play that much more in the Club World Cup either, being that if we are successful, there's only 2 games left. And maybe João Pedro is going to get tested on that left side and Liam Delap up top. I don't know, man. I don't know, but it looks like the writing's on the wall for Noni. Nice one, guys. If you are enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video or subscribing to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. I'll be keeping my ear to the ground as ever of more Chelsea news. And if you're looking for something else to watch today, go and check out my match review of the Chelsea Palmeiras game. It was a riot. Nice one, guys. I hope you're having a wicked day and I will catch up with you very soon.